Hey, what up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus and Gaming Enclave, and we are here for episode 12 of the Sharpshootin podcast. Say what's up to the people, Pete.
Hey,
Can
what's
you hear
going
me?
on,
No,
everybody?
okay, I was
Glad
just
to be
saying.
back.
All right.
Yeah, glad to be back. Ready to do our raw results. Let's see what happened in
Yeah,
the week before
which is
the Extreme Rules.
pretty, which is pretty standard fare for WWE. Uh, well, let's just go ahead and dive right in with the start of the show. So Randy
Yeah,
Orton,
well,
he comes out
yeah, just
and
sitting in the standing in the steel cage, should I say? So it's the first week I can remember. Besides after the last pay per view, which was Jesus Fastlane. This is the first time I think Randy has kicked off Raw in a while. But
yeah,
it was basically just him complaining about, not complaining, but just saying that he doesn't really need the RKO to to beat Seth Rollins at, uh, what is it, Extreme Rules. So, I mean, nothing new there. I kind of assumed once Seth Rollins got the RKO, when he said the RKO wasn't going to be allowed at Extreme Rules, I kind of got the gist that Randy was going to do something along the lines of saying that he doesn't need it. But I didn't expect him to take the turn he did. Then, of course, you had Seth Rollins coming out saying that Randy has an anger issue, and basically the whole thing, that whole segment was just kind of like there. And then Orton finished it, wrapped it up by saying that he's going to RKO every son of a bitch he comes across, and promises before the end of the night that he's going to RKO Seth Rollins. And I think that really set the tone. Just you're actually curious if he's going to RKO Seth Rollins.
yeah, and I was more hyped for the fact that he said he's just gonna RKO everybody. So I was just looking for like the craziest RKOs to come out of just like nowhere. And I was also praying, hoping, wishing that somehow Michael Cole would end up with his shoe in the ring again from a crazy RKO. I was looking for that moment where he got attacked. Because it is funny too, because that's something. I think was it JBL? Yeah, I think JBL said it. He was like, "You don't think he'll RKO the announcer, do you?" that was like, yeah, he might come out there and get you guys. It would have been great if he would have got at least Michael Cole, but nonetheless, we
just
did not get that. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like he should have RKO'd Michael Cole, and then afterwards, once they woke Michael Cole up, he should have been like, you know what? I can't take this anymore. I'm gone. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't take it. I'm getting my ass kicked all the time now. I don't want to do this. No. And he just like walks off.
It's also cool that Randy's kind of gone thug mode. I mean, he's the one that curses all the time, and he's also the one that did the double fingers on Raw just before he attacked Seth Rollins before WrestleMania. So it's actually pretty cool to see that even though we're in the PG era, they're sort of like
right.
It's sort of teasing. He's kind of like on the line. I don't think he's fully come across.
Yeah, he's not like extreme over the edge, but he does definitely. That's why it's funny because me and Flying Modem, we were tweeting back and forth, and he came up with the idea that what they need to do is just like set up a 24-hour period of RKOs, or like I was saying, maybe take the WWE network and take all their live shows and just like in every show or every now and then, all of a sudden you just see RKOs come out of nowhere. Like Randy Orton just shows up during the interview with Vince, RKO's Vince in the middle of his interview, or like NXT is going and it's a big match and all of a sudden he RKO's Kevin Owens or something like that. Just like, why is he here? Why is he in Orlando? It just like goes on an RKO spree, just like they do with the memes. They need to do that.
That'd be crazy if NX rocked up there and then just started RKOing everyone. It's just, in a way, I guess it would make no sense at the time, you just feel like, why is he here? But you just feel like, fuck it, it's Randy Orton.
Yeah, right. RKO's coming out of nowhere. Just like all the memes with the soccer games and baseball. Just like have him just do it everywhere. Have him show up to a talk show and RKO Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. Just go nuts with it. They could that would be awesome if they did that. But after the whole Randy Orton thing, we get a match. I guess it was a match.
Yeah, the first match was the Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose match,
and that was just I like both of them, but I wasn't that enthralled with it, and it seemed to just end like abruptly. At least to me, it just seemed like it was just there to say, "Hey, we have a match for the pay-per-view, so you should probably watch. This is gonna be some of the crazy shit that we're gonna do." And okay,
it was in a way, it was this match could be seen more like just like you said, just saying that at Extreme Rules, here we come, we're coming to verse, and that was really it. The match itself, I don't think much happened. The result speaks for itself. A double count out does nothing for either superstar. Kind of just it was something on the card, and I gotta say though, I am pretty happy that Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose are getting a match at Extreme Rules. Hopefully, they put it on a good show. At WrestleMania, Luke Harper was honestly, to me, he was the standout in that ladder match. In my eyes, he just stood out, and I'm happy to see him go.
Yeah, and honestly, his last few pay-per-views. I think his last few pay-per-views, he's really good.
Great worker.
Yeah, definitely is. But yeah, pretty much it was just a, okay, we're done with the promo now. Let's fill some time until the next segment. That's what it seemed to be for that.
Yeah, that basically sums it up. And then after that match, which you got, like I said, no real result. The double count out, it does nothing for either superstar. We moved on to the second match, and the second match being the undefeated. I'm just going to say this now: the undefeated Lucha Dragons versus the New Day. Remember that word, undefeated. Now, the actual result of this match annoys the crap out of it. I'll let you talk about this because I'll go on.
Okay. I don't know if I should talk about it either because, I mean, everybody knows how I feel about the New Day. As wrestlers, I love those guys. Not so much a Kofi Kingston fan, but I was a huge Constantine Creed fan, so I love Xavier Woods. Love Big E. I think all three of those guys are very talented wrestlers. But they're three talented wrestlers stuck with one of Vince McMahon's bullshit gimmicks. Whoever thought of that New Day shit should have been fired immediately. It's just not something that's worth their caliber. It just really isn't. That being said, them being in a gimmick that nobody likes, that the crowd lets them know always like, during the match, you kind of got a sense that they were trying to show these guys as kind of getting ticked off with the crowd and ticked off with the way things were going for them. So there was a couple of times where like Kofi Kingston kind of really went after Sin Cara or whatnot. Of course, that all changed after the hot tag. Kalisto comes in and he wows the crowd with his moves. Kalisto is a very great, very well. His athletic style is very great for matches like this. He puts on a quick show for everybody. That being said, it was all bullshit at the end because after the Lucha Libres hit a spectacular, move on the outside, everybody's on the ground. They're down. They're all trying to climb up into the ring. Somehow, Xavier Woods sneaks under the ring, grabs Sin Cara and holds him where the ref couldn't see him so he could be counted out. And the number one contender for the tag team belt are the New Day. Yay.
So I'm just going to say quick key words from this match. Going in, undefeated Lucha Dragons. This loss is worse. It's worse than how the Ascension lost their first match. Worse. The Ascension lost with that roll up by Darren Young that pissed me off. But this is worse. Like, why have the New Day, who are now a heel tag team, go to Extreme Rules and versus another heel tag team that's kind of... To be fair, though, with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, it's weird. They're a heel tag team, but they're kind of going over. I think it's because the tag team division's so shit.
Well, not only that, because most of their matches have been against the New Day, and that's where they've gone over. And that's the thing that's the funniest to me. It's like they wanted to be a heel tag team, but people hate the New Day so much that every time they face each other, they got over. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my god! And to make it all worse, all of this is really for show, because we found out later that this match isn't even on the pay-per-view card. It's a pre-show match. Again, the Tag Team Championship is a pre-show match. Why have these belts become so inconsequential to the WWE that every time someone defends it, it's on a pre-show?
That just sums up the tag team division, how it's taken that belt. It's always a pre-show match. WrestleMania, pre-show. WrestleMania, it was a pre-show. This is a pre-show. But I don't understand why build the Lucha Dragons up. Why bring them up, have them go on a little run and look like they're going to have... even if they didn't beat Cesaro and Kidd, why build them up to the point where they look like they were going to verse them and they were next in line? To have the New Day, it doesn't make sense. And if the New Day win at Extreme Rules, I'm done with the tag team division. I'm done. Absolutely done.
I will say this. If they are really pushing them as a heel, them winning would bring more heat than them lose. It'll bring more heat to them than them losing. It'll give us a reason to even boo them more. And there isn't really there's no heel tag team. They've already blew their chances with the Ascension. That's come and gone. There's no
Let me
other
just leave it at this. I'm just happy after the match. Randy Orton came out and RKO'd everybody. That's the highlight of that match.
Yeah, Randy Orton definitely. Yeah, he made good on his promise. He comes out, and I think he kind of botched the first attempt. I think Kofi botched the first attempt because he did a move where he was trying to throw Kofi up, but Kofi didn't get up higher, or it wasn't done right. So the second time he did it and RKO'd him. But then that was after he RKO'd Xavier Woods, who sold it pretty well. He just laid flat on the ground like he was dead. But then my boy Big E again. God damn it, WWE. Why are you making him look like this? Big E's like looking around. He jumps up onto the ropes like he's about to go in and go at Randy Orton. And he's just like looking at Randy Orton. And he's like ducking his head under ropes like, am I going to go? Nah, fuck that. I ain't getting hit. And he just runs like a bitch. Really? Really? You do this to Big E? Come on.
Key word here, Big E. Because the guy's massive. Like,
exactly.
Honestly, just what a turn. Why have that? It didn't make sense. And I would have preferred, honestly, this is how it should have been. Kofi and Big E take the RKO, and then Xavier Woods runs. It makes sense. Xavier Woods was the one that held the leg.
Because he was on the outside of the ring. He really didn't have anything to do with it. Like, yeah, it would look much better.
Why get the biggest guy they got in that tag team, and make him run like a little girl? Doesn't make sense. But again, I'm leaving it at all it is undefeated. Now, why can't the WWE think of creative ways to beat a tag team? Like, fair enough if Kofi won with like the Trouble in Paradise.
Yeah,
if it would have been fair enough.
I would even took it if it was a different way of cheating. Like if Xavier Woods hit somebody with a move while the ref's back was turned, and then they got the pin in the ring. The whole
that too.
under. I mean, the way he was looking under the ring, holding his like, really.
And it had to be Sin Cara so that like he was actually at a reasonable height to look like he was trying to get in, because Sin Cara's so small that if Xavier Woods is holding his leg, all you see is his head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that match, safe to say, I don't know what it has in store for us at Extreme Rules having this match. I'm probably not going to watch the pre-show because it doesn't interest me. See, if
you sure? Because Booker T is going to be on the pre-show.
Oh, Jesus, that may have just changed my mind. God, Booker T. No more Booker. If anyone should have copped an RKO on that announce table, it should have been. We should have been seeing his shoe laying in the ring. But if they let the Lucha Dragons go to the pre-show, I may have been tempted to watch it. That would have been a good match, the Lucha Dragons versus Cesaro Kid. Would have been a good match for the belts. Interesting. New Day suck. Simply put, it's a terrible group. It needs to dismantle soon, hopefully. Soon.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to the third match of the night, being Fandango versus your boy, Curtis Axel. Axelmania. It's running wild.
Oh yeah, it's running wild already. Like, okay, I was loving it at first, but now he's just a complete squash. That's all he is. He is a jobber by every definition of the term jobber now, and it's kind of sad because they could have done some things with it. They could have done it a little better.
He's a better character jobber as opposed to, like, say, a Zack Ryder or something. He's like, actually, when he comes out, he says some creative things, and it's kind of cool to see. But this match, it's terrible to look at on paper. The match itself, Fandango versus Curtis Axel, that smells of a terrible match. But that is
a main event match. That should have been on main event or Superstars.
That's so true.
That's being nice to them, because honestly, it's a house show.
That's so true. And you know what it is about this match? This match on Raw was only what? This was such a squash match, and Fandango. Actually, he's been winning quite a lot recently.
Yeah,
I've noticed it's been slow. So it's been a slow build-up.
Yeah,
but
I mean, this is
Curtis Axel got completely squashed.
Yeah,
does nothing for him. I don't even think it does anything for Fandango.
I don't either. I mean, people love the music, but beyond the music, I need him to give a better finishing move. I really do.
That leg drop's kind of like
leg drop off the top rope.
Hulk Hogan from the top rope.
It was cool when Snooker and them did it, but I think things have advanced a lot more now, where him hitting that move should not be. And then it just makes Curtis look worse. Man, come on. Y'all doing my boy. It's so wrong. So wrong.
No, that's so true with the finishing move. It's like seeing, when I look back at old wrestling matches and you see Hogan winning with the leg drop, you see Tito Santana winning with the flying forearm and stuff. It's just like those moves pinned then, you could kind of get away with it, but now it needs to be something a bit more like impactful, because we're seeing moves like the RKO, even the curb stomp, stuff like that look like, okay, that's a move that will actually pin someone. It's almost as bad. That leg drop could be in the same category as The Rock's People's Elbow.
Yeah, People's Elbow wasn't a good finish. It's a nice setup, but finisher, nah.
It's basically, it should be The Rock's 5-knuckle shuffle. Really, that's how it should be. Well, technically, the 5-knuckle shuffle should be The Rock's People's Elbow.
Yeah,
but they're the same gist. It should lead up to the Rock bottom, not pin someone like it did CM Punk at the Royal Rumble.
Oh my God! You just reminded me of that bullshit.
I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, because I will go off. I swear, if we would have did the podcast back then, y'all would have seen me explode. That shit right there, the restart, all that, fuck that shit. One of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God.
If we did it live then.
I wouldn't even care about talking about any other match. I would have been just talking about that because that was the worst shit in the world. That is the reason.
Straight to the
honestly,
main event.
You could put that on the top of the list as reasons why CM Punk said "fuck you WWE" because that match right there, goddamn, I hated that. I hated that match.
Oh, that's so true. But heading back to Raw after the squash match, which holds no relevance. Again, another match in another match of the night that does absolutely nothing for either superstar.
And has nothing to do with the pay-per-view. What was that to do with the pay-per-view?
It was a spot filler. It was a spot filler. And okay, so next you had Triple H come out and talk about Tough Enough. Do you want to cover this bit?
So he basically
if there was anything really.
It wasn't because he was basically come out to let people know, hey, it's going to be June 23rd on USA Network. And in the middle of cutting the promo, he gets interrupted, of course. Kane has had enough of Seth Rollins and all of that, and Triple H is like, this isn't the time, we'll do it later. Seth Rollins comes out, no, you need to go because I'm getting sick of you, you're not with the program. And Triple H did a good job of trying to squash the whole thing, calm them both down. Yo, you need to check yourself, Kane, you need to check yourself. And he said something to Kane that set Kane off. He was like, come on. I've known you for so long. You were the big red machine, but you're corporate now. You're not all hell and brimstone anymore. Kane was like, "Oh, you think so? I'm gonna show you later." And it's like he turns to Seth, and Seth is like, "Whatever." It set up some events for later. But as far as the Tough Enough thing. All it was is just to give a date. They didn't really go into any solid details about how it's going to be set up, who's going to be the judges and whatnot. It was just basically a setup for events later on tonight, tonight's Raw, if anything else. But at least now Tough Enough is back. It's coming June 23rd on USA Network or wherever you guys get your WWE at all over the world. So yeah,
I really strongly hope that they with Tough Enough they try and get the episodes live on, or not live, but at least a bit delayed on the WWE Network. Because I'm sick of the WWE Network not having Raw should be, even if it's not live, a delayed episode comes on, say a few hours after it goes live. SmackDown, they should be up to date. Not they wait till the end of the month and then they upload it all at once.
Yeah, and I don't understand why isn't Tough Enough a WWE Network show. That would have been another draw for WWE Network. You got NXT, which is cool. You get the pay-per-views. This is another live show that people would be interested in watching. Why isn't that one of your shows to get people to pay that $9.99? It's weird, but whatever.
WWE Network again. Oh, also just quickly for the people watching, remember that the WWE Network is free for April, so I'd suggest getting Extreme Rules for free, then cancel if you want. It's just a quick suggestion if you want to get the pay-per-view live and free. So,
definitely.
Out of all that, I guess you take. That's Tough Enough. We'll see what happens with it. Like I said, I hope that they do some delayed coverage to the WWE Network just to fill it with a bit more recent content, because the only things that update live on the WWE Network now, NXT, which is gold. I'm glad they do that.
I guess you could say Superstars are main event. Yeah,
goes live. Jesus Christ! I don't know if anyone really watches main event if it's got an audience. I think it's just for the people that can't get to Raw and SmackDown.
I think I've watched one main event since I've been looking at the WWE Network. And I didn't watch it for long because it was a Fandango match. So,
but yeah, I think for anyone interested watching Tough Enough, I've only seen a few episodes back when The Miz was in it, and I think he's the only him and
Oh my God.
I think you were saying Ryback were the only
Ryback
two
was
that had come from
that
Tough Enough.
I think was Ivory on it? Because I think Ivory was on it, but she didn't win. It was a couple of people who were on it but didn't win, and I can't remember who. All I know is they ruined the whole nostalgia of Tough Enough anyway by saying, "Hey, The Miz, he's a Tough Enough." And I'm like, nah. This is why the show is a mistake, because you take people like him and you give them like a chance. So that's where Tough Enough messes up. They gave The Miz a shot, even though he didn't win.
I mean, yeah, no, that's true, but Miz has really fallen a lot. So basically, he had his short stint at the top, and to be honest, at that point, I wasn't Miz fan.
He should not have had a stint at all.
He's a lot worse now than how he began. I don't know what happened. They destroyed him and he destroyed himself. It was just a terrible combination. And now
I think it's once he started doing the movies, he just I don't really care about wrestling.
Yeah, but we'll move from there. The next match was the Divas match, and you had your heel and now #1 contender for Nikki's belt at Extreme Rules, since Paige has suffered injuries and she's out for an indefinite period of time. It's stupid. Let's clear the air. I said this last week and I'll say it again now. She is away filming a movie with none other than the Tough Enough runner-up, The Miz. Okay, first, that's terrible. Why is she in a movie with The Miz?
Secondly, why is The Miz getting another movie? God damn it.
Secondly, why on earth would you take her out before? Why before Extreme Rules? Why have her win Why did she win the Battle Royal then? Why not have Naomi win it? I mean, you kind of set up Naomi's heel turn, but Brie's already a heel.
It's like, okay, I sort of get it. She's at home. You want to have the home crowd see the home girl win. And I understand. We're in the era where kayfabe is done. We all know the background stuff. We knew about the movie, whatever. I hate how they really no-sold it. The beating that Naomi, quote-unquote, gave her was not that bad. That was like I beat you up after the end of the match. Now we're going to have a match type of beating. That's the type of beating she gave. That's by no means they should have had her say, oh, she was that hurt that she's indefinitely out. You know how they could have fixed this? And see, again, this is where WWE logic confounds me. You want her to go away for the movie, fine. Have her win the Royal Rumble. Naomi assaults her, flash to SmackDown. Her and Naomi get into it in words and say, okay, you want to settle this for sure? If you think you're the #1 contender, you beat me on Raw for my #1 contendership. Naomi beats her instead of beating up on Brie Bella. Naomi beats her, gets the #1, and then Paige goes off and does what she needs to do. You know, like have Naomi beat her in the ring, have her like beat her down really bad in the ring, and then go off to face Nikki, and then she'd be like, well, I had to take time off, and that would have worked better. Not this whole, after that one, like, couple of hits, I can't wrestle for an indefinite amount of time. Get the fuck out of here. Come on.
That was the...
I just set it up for you perfectly. Perfectly, WWE. Come on.
We always... Can I say the Divas division has always frustrated us, especially since we started this podcast. Every time we talk about the Divas division, it always gets to the point where we feel we have to say the stories for them. Talking this match, though, Naomi versus Brie. Okay, first, Naomi completely dominated the match. The match went for 3 minutes. Okay, but the Divas are basically, in a sense, irrelevant on the television. The time they get it's not good enough. If you want to make the Divas relevant, you need to have them in more competitive matches. Think back to it was a few Raws ago, actually. You remember when we spoke about Natalya versus Naomi, that match, and we said that was great. It had the highs, the lows. We need more of those matches. And that's the thing. We're not going to get it from Brie. Brie's doing Brie, instead of having her do her own thing, she's on her sister's side doing nothing. Just
comes. And you know what made that match even worse was having Nikki on commentary. She's god awful. She has no personality.
Nikki's meant to be Nikki's meant to be the champion that just shows the title. She's meant to be the stronger Bella. I can understand that if she has a dominant reign as like a dominant diva, I can go with that. But the fact that she wants to speak a lot and she has no promo skills is just kind of annoying. And the fact that they're still going with this whole Mean Girls thing irritates the hell out of me. Naomi, as I said, Naomi completely dominated, and she won with the finisher that needs to be changed, the rear view. Like I said to you before we started, if the divas want to be taken seriously, moves like this have to go. It doesn't hold a place. I mean, the only time, whenever I see the review, like I said, I think back to your tweet where you were saying, I'm seeing all these divas get knocked out by Naomi's ass. I got to see how hard this thing really is.
Exactly.
That's the truth. It's the truth, because that thing just knocks out everyone.
Yeah, it does, and it's like we were saying, it was a good match. I mean, Brie did her thing too when she had her moments, but for the most part, Naomi just squashed her. But they were pulling off good wrestling moves. It was a wrestling match. That right there dissolves it into, oh yeah, they're just here to look pretty. You know what I mean? And that's a shame because Naomi can work her ass off. I mean, she was doing some really good technical moves in that ring. But her putting her ass in someone's face to get a pin just makes you know that they don't take her serious as an actor.
That's when you think, after she does her finish, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. She's a WWE diva. When do you ever see, like, on TNA, when the divas fought there, when did you ever see a move like that?
No, it's like Gail Kim, she will put, I forget the name of her finisher, but that shit was great. You know what I mean?
Think back to WWE earlier, though, like when Victoria and stuff were around, Beth Phoenix and shit. They were slamming divas.
Stuff like that. You know, the Stratosphere, Lita coming off the top.
Why do you think the Divas division was so highly rated back then? Because when they fought, they actually fought and they had a good finisher.
Right, Widow's Peak, all that stuff. Like, what are you doing?
But like we said, that's just so irritating, and it's basically just saying, this match is, again, another match in the night that just basically was saying, hey, look, I'm Naomi, I'm fighting Nikki at Extreme Rules.
Yeah. And there's no build to that whole thing. It's just like, it's just out of no... Like, the Seth, Randy Orton stuff, that's a build. You know what I mean? I will say, even to a certain degree, the Sheamus, Dolph stuff, that kind of is a build. I don't think any other match they established for the pay-per-view had any
Cena and Rusev.
Cena. So those three, those are the three that they built, but everything else is just,
Everything else is just literally, we see it constantly, it's just a week, they're like, a week before the pay-per-view, like, oh shit, we haven't got any matches. Smack. They just throw like 5 matches at us that make no sense. And overall, we'll move on and we'll talk. I don't usually do most of the backstage stuff, but I thought it would be fun to add this one in, and that was the catering scene where showing random people eating, and then it just focused on Heath Slater of all people. Heath Slater, Jesus Christ. Heath Slater has not been relevant in the WWE for, I don't think, ever. Like, even when he was in the 3-man band, he wasn't relevant. But
I don't see any relevance from him. I mean, even when he was part of the Nexus and all that, nah.
Yeah. He was telling Eric Rowan that he's going to accept Cena's open challenge, which, again, would have been the ultimate of squash matches. Probably would have been a better match than we got with John Cena at the end, though. It was like Randy Orton showed up and then just RKO'd Heath Slater through a table. It's like, what? And then out of nowhere, Orton just picked up some food. Just decided to have a little feed.
Yeah, he's like, I guess he's hungry. And I love how he was keeping count, because he was like, that's 3. And just walked away. I loved it. It was funny to see the RKO. That was the only benefit of that, because I didn't care what Heath Slater was trying to say about you're looking at the next US jet. What? Come on, Heath. Has he even held a belt in WWE?
Tag team with Justin Gabriel, right? Okay. When the Nexus was around, I think that was. In fact, that was the last one I can remember him holding. He might have been like a 2-time tag team champion, but since then nothing. Yeah. So that was just a little cool moment backstage. I mean, it kind of added to the whole Randy Orton doing the RKOs everywhere. But the next match, another squash match, and you had Sheamus versus Zack Ryder, and I know you were loving this match because Sheamus is on the mic the entire time ragdoll.
Yeah, it was like when Zack Ryder came out, I was immediately pissed because I'm like, why is he here? I don't understand. Why is he on Raw? I really don't understand it. And then the bro kick happens, and Sheamus just basically, I mean, like I said, I don't really care for his look. I like his intro, but I'm kind of feeling the whole I'm the biggest, baddest bully thing, because what he did to Zack Ryder was pretty damn disrespectful. He kicks him with the bro kick. Then he gets on the mic and he says, "Nah, I don't think this should be a 5-second match. You know, we got to do better than this for you, Zack Ryder." So he just like goes on and just was like on the mic. He has the mic in one hand, Zack Ryder in the other. He's doing suplexes with the mic in his hand. He's throwing him up on the top turnbuckle, doing all this stuff with the mic in his hand and talking shit the whole time. That was beautiful.
That's the thing. That was one of the key things I noted from that match. It was like the fact that Sheamus said Zack deserves like a 5-minute match, because knowing Zack Ryder, whenever you see Zack Ryder, you know he's getting squashed. It's as simple as that. It does not matter who he versus. He could verse El Torito from the Los Matadores, and he'll get squashed. And that match again, I guess it kind of builds Sheamus up a bit, shows him the dominance he's got, and how he's going into that match, which does annoy me. The kiss my ass match, it kind of doesn't sit well. Does not sit well.
Yeah, that's kind of corny, but. Yeah.
But moving from there, you had the Roman Reigns promo.
Well, no, real quick, Ziggler did come out to save Zack Ryder.
Oh,
he did come out to save him. So that was kind of a building heat moment, I guess you could say. But yeah, beyond that, move on.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone wants to save Zack Ryder. But you had your Roman Reigns promo, typical Roman Reigns stuff. The big gorilla. And then you had Bo Dallas come out. And out of all people that could have possibly come out, I gotta say, when Bo Dallas, let me just state first, he's built up a bit. So he looks like he's gonna do at least something in the WWE, as opposed to just kind of like coming, getting destroyed. Though this Raw didn't prove anything, because after he said what he said, which I don't remember. You were saying that he called him something.
Yeah, he made some weird Star Wars reference that made no damn sense. And then I guess this only holds weight for people in America because he referred him to being a bust, and that he compared him to. He basically called him the Tim Tebow of the WWE, who is a quarterback who's been trying for years and years and years to latch on in the NFL, but hasn't really been able to sustain a career. You know, he had his little shining moment in the beginning of his career, but since then nobody's pretty much wanted him. So I guess that's the connection. It's like Reigns had his moment, but at the end, he couldn't do it or something. I don't know. It was just like the promo was just. It's like all of Bo Dallas' promo. It was just like awkward, at least for me, his promos are awkward, and the whole believe thing is just kind of corny because the guy can wrestle, but it's corny.
His gimmick is stale now. He needs a new gimmick, and Bo Dallas ended up getting messed up by a Superman punch, which didn't look like it connected well, which was weird.
No, because it looked like he slapped him first and then hit him with the punch. To me,
yeah, that's it. And then he got messed up by that spear, which again, building. I guess you can say building Roman Reigns a little bit. It was kind of just another pointless time. It was a filler. Yeah. So moving from there, because again, nothing you can really extract from that. Actually, before I say that, I'm pretty sure earlier in the night we skipped over the Big Show talking about. I think he had some promo work, or it was like showing what he did to Roman Reigns last week.
He did. We did forget.
And it's just that. Like, I really don't want to talk about anything Big Show related because the Big Show just, for me, he's completely done. He's done. I don't care what anyone says. He's done. He's won his Andre the Giant Battle Memorial. Go. Take it. Go. That's how it should have ended. But we'll talk the next match, which was Kane versus John Cena for, I believe it's for the United States Championship. And
the Cena Open, U.S. Open, or whatever he calls it. I don't know.
I mean, really, every match that he's had, you knew he was going to win because all they've spoke about is like Cena versus Rusev in Fastlane. So, I mean, there was no reason Cena would lose. But this match in particular, I know you had some big issues with it. So, very reminiscent. Was it very reminiscent to the Brock Lesnar John Cena match at Extreme Rules? I think a few years back where Brock completely dominated John Cena, and then out of nowhere, Cena just pulls an AA, and it's over.
Yeah, because of course Cena comes out, he does his thing. I will say this about Cena. Right now, he's kind of like the most dickish babyface that you could ever come up with because he knows the crowd doesn't like him, and he always pokes fun at him. He pokes fun at the crowd before every match. You know, he always does that whole setup to where he's like, I know you guys ain't going to like this. The champ is here type stuff. You know, he always fucks with the crowd. And I have to say I kind of like that because this is like he's able to maintain the I'm still the hero thing, but he can be just a little bit of a dick as well with it. So I think that's kind of cute. But Kane's come out. Nobody expect Kane to come out, and Kane just it was like watching him. It was almost like watching vintage Kane where he would fight in one of his squash matches when he first came to the WWE, because he was just beating the hell out of John Cena. He threw John Cena all the way around the ring, inside the ring, outside the ring. John Cena barely had any offense. John Cena like reversed things once, got Kane on the ground, and went to go do the 5-knuckle shuffle. Kane's hand shoots up and grabs his neck, gets up, and chokeslams the shit out of him. Of course, Cena kicks out of the choke slam. You know, he has to kick out of the choke slam. So we go on for a couple of more minutes, and this is where I said to the Flying Modem, he tweeted me, he was like, "Does this look like Kane's crying?" I'm like, no, that's just the sweat of an old man. He's getting tired. And that's why I think they ended it the way they did, only because I don't think Kane can go as long as, at least for not that night, he could go as long as they wanted him to go. Maybe he wasn't ready to do the match or something. I don't know. All I know is we get a bullshit finish as Kane's whipping his ass. Of course, John Cena reverses the damn tombstone after Kane does the, you know, it's over move and all that. Hits Kane with a kick, picks him up on the shoulder. AA 1 2 3. One fucking AA. He had no offense. He had no fucking offense that entire match. But that kick and that AA, Kane was done. Kane was fucking done. I just sat there like, really? At least they could have built to some type of offensive comeback. You know, at least could have. it have a like back and forth thing. So when he did do the AA, you could like, okay, yeah, you wouldn't have took it as bad, but nah, that was total bullshit.
That was Super Cena getting ready for his match at Extreme Rules. But
Yeah.
It kind of helps Kane in a way because now I'm not as adamant for Kane to retire. I kind of just want Kane to go back to the badass ways. I want him to come out. If he just goes back, get out of the suit, and just go back to the like black tights with the red, and then just come out as he was basically.
That would be fine.
Have him go back because honestly, Kane if he's wrestling and showing that dominance he did in that match, I can actually see him going to top card, basically fighting some of the bigger wrestlers. Not saying that he's going to win a belt. I'm not going that far, but
it'll be more entertaining to watch him that way.
Yeah, because he is an entertaining superstar.
Yeah.
But, I guess from that match, I think Rusev ended up attacking.
Well, yeah, that was a little... No, it wasn't actually... Was that it? Yeah, it was. Because they were going to do an interview with The Miz, and they cut off The Miz. And he was upset because they cut him off to talk to John Cena. Whatever, Miz. Get the fuck out of wrestling, please. God damn it. Anyway...
But, actually, we can talk about the next match, which, of course, had The Miz. Miz versus Damien Sandow, Damien Mizdow, should I say, in what we can call, let's call it the battle for the name, which shouldn't have even been.
Yeah, they were like, this is for the brand of the Miz. Like, first of all, the Miz is not a brand. Nobody cares about the Miz's brand. If you have bought a Miz shirt in the last 3 years, I seriously question whether or not you really like wrestling, because you cannot be supporting the Miz at this point in his career. Over the last 3 years, there's no reason to care about the Miz as a wrestler, in my opinion. But that's just me.
That's fair enough, and I think it does like having at the end the result was the Miz won. Of course, not the scenario like the way I thought it was going to go down, but it's good that they've taken Damien Sandow away from the Miz's name because he needs to have no part of that at all. Yeah. He needs to go on his own now and really just get as far away from the Miz's name as he can. Get out of that entire... Just basically forget it ever happened because that was some dark times for him.
Yeah, I mean, it was cute to see him do the, mimicking thing. But now that that's run its course, let's actually try to do something with Damien Sandow. Let's make up for that mistake we did when he cashed in on John Cena. That was the thing that pushed him towards this Mizdow thing, was those stupid cash-in against John Cena. Should have never have done that. That was the worst. I thought that was the worst thing they could have did to him.
No, that's definitely so true. So all you got to take from this is that the Miz won. Obviously, I forgot the diva's name. Summer Rae, the relevant diva. Summer Rae ended up turning on Mizdow, which kind of got the Miz the pin. And I seen that picture where it's like the Miz on the ground, and it's like when you bust a nut. I was laughing my ass off that picture.
That was hilarious.
But I don't even really think you can pull anything from this because that.
Well, other than him getting RKO'd, that's about it.
Oh yeah, the post match, because the Miz he thought it'd only be fitting if he said one more time, because I'm the Miz, and then obviously RKO from Randy Orton, and Randy Orton holds up his fingers, just counting off another victim that he's got.
That was great, because you really didn't expect it to happen, and it happened. That was awesome. But,
this really doesn't feel like the Raw. Like at this point, you're sitting there thinking this really doesn't feel like the Raw before pay-per-view, because there's so much filler. Like that match was just so unnecessary. That feud should have been done long ago. And for them to drag it on as far as they have, I'm quite surprised. But moving from there, we got another Bray Wyatt cryptic message, which if anyone can even get a slight hint at who he's talking about, please leave it in the comments, because I'm just curious.
I want to know everybody's speculation too. I was kind of lost at who he was talking about at that point. But I mean, I love Bray Wyatt, but yeah, he confused the hell out of me right there. He really did.
Yeah, no, it's true. I had no idea. It's so hard to pull anything from it because there's so many, like, you think about it, you'd assume he's talking about someone big. You'd assume, or I assume that he's talking about someone of size, but at the same time, you're thinking to yourself, it can't be anyone at the, like, top, in a sense. It just has to be, in a way, it has to be someone like Sting or something. That's just my thoughts, but we'll talk about when do you think he'll reveal it, by the way? What pay-per-view?
Money in the Bank. I think this is a setup for Money in the Bank. That's the next biggest thing, and it seems like, now that I think about it, it seems like they're only holding Bray for the, like, bigger pay-per-views, if you think about it, because he was at Royal Rumble, but he was nowhere to be seen at really at Fastlane, except for when he came out of the coffin, and that was just the setup for The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Now he's not going to be at Extreme Rules, but Money in the Bank is the next biggest thing to come up. So, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's fair enough. From there, I guess we'll just have to wait to see who he's talking about and wait for more messages. But before we move on to the next, I just want to give a quick update in terms of, like, if you didn't notice, Daniel Bryan obviously wasn't on Raw this week, and I've heard speculation that he's injured or his current health is, like, not good. So it's also, they're saying that there's a chance that his match with Bad News Barrett at Extreme Rules this Sunday may or may not take place. Just really depends on how Daniel Bryan is, which would be a shame because, hypothetically, could you imagine Daniel Bryan's out for an extended period of time again and then ends up... Like
bad luck. Now he has a belt. He has a chance to make the Intercontinental belt prestigious, and he can't get a chance.
I mean, worst case scenario, and I really hope it doesn't come to this, he's stripped of another belt. That's absolute, like, I honestly, I feel like whenever he gets to the top, it's just, there's something in his way that just puts him straight back down, and that's just the absolute worst.
Yeah, it is. I'm praying that he recovers. Like, I heard it's possibly a concussion. So hopefully it's not. We'll see. But at least they're keeping him off, at least for this week, so he'll possibly be ready for next week, Yeah,
I mean, the good thing about his match with Bad News Barrett is no one really cares about Bad News Barrett, so you don't really need to do that much of a build. Yeah,
it doesn't have to be that long of a match. He can get over, do his stuff, and you can just kick that out of the way. That's the good thing. It's a match that doesn't require him to put on a, like, top show, I think.
Yeah.
So.
But moving from there, that was just a quick update. We'll talk the next squash match of the night, because Raw's always filled with them before a pay-per-view. You have Ryback versus Adam Rose. And if anyone thought Adam Rose was going to win, I doubt anyone in the world thought Adam Rose was going to win, because Ryback's actually been on quite a roll lately. Even though they're not really directing him anywhere, he's just kind of winning.
Yeah, and I saw somebody tweet this, and I agree. What are they building him up for? It's like they are really... He's getting all this momentum, but it's like, where's this momentum going? I don't...
Yeah, they need a director. Hopefully he's not the one that Ryback's talking about. Bray Wyatt is talking about.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I hope that too. No, I don't want that.
But
That at all.
But we'll see where, again, this is another, it's a waiting game just to see in which direction they send Ryback, because for all we know, he could be going at a United States Championship, or he's going to start pushing for the main titles again.
No.
Which wouldn't be good. So we're basically, right now, after that match, you get that little basically squash match just to get you ready for the main event. But I just want to quickly mention before we go there, over the last month, Rusev, he's just been like absent. I mean, he had a match with Jack Swagger 2 weeks ago, but I mean, for the last month, Rusev hasn't been as like out there.
Maybe they're keeping him off because Lana hasn't been around. That's the only thing I can think of. Lana's always been gone doing the movies, things like that. Rusev can talk. It's not like he's horrible, and he doesn't need to say much. So I don't know why keeping him off screen has been something that they've been doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting way to go about having him as the number one contender if he's just not appearing. I mean, granted, when he does appear, he's taking out John Cena, so I guess it is heading towards the United States Championship match, but I feel like he should have done a bit more wrestling.
Yeah, I do too.
Before he has his second loss in his career.
Like, I know they announced that he's going to be facing Ryback on SmackDown, so that's something, but yeah, he should have been a lot more involved. And like, why didn't he have a match on Raw? I would have preferred to see a match with him squashing somebody. Like, have him squash Kurt Axel if you want to squash Kurt Axel. What the hell does getting Fandango over on Raw do for anything? You know?
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Even better, why have Rusev versus Ryback on SmackDown when you can have Rusev versus Ryback on Raw?
Exactly. You know,
give him a bit more, take out the Fandango Curtis Axel match, scrap it, and then you could even scrap I mean, in a sense, you'd kind of keep the, I mean, that would get rid of the Ryback Adam Rose match. Again, they've got a whole bunch of time that they can work with there.
Yeah, you could have just gave them a long match, yeah. Yeah.
But we'll talk. So we'll move to the main event, which was Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. And I want to say quickly, Dolph Ziggler has been getting in a lot of main events recently. Now, I don't expect him to do anything in terms of the world title. That's just me, honestly. He'll, in my eyes, as long as the belts are combined, that he'll never be the top. He'll never be the WWE Championship. If they split, I can see him being a world heavyweight, but as long as they're together, Dolph will never be the top guy.
Yeah, so, he'll always be trying.
This is kind of like a nice way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a nice way of putting Dolph in. Yeah, a nice way of putting Dolph in the top spot. I mean, obviously the week before he had his match with Adrian Neville, which was a terrific match, and leading to this match, I mean, Seth Rollins basically has to win. And have you noticed whenever Seth Rollins needs a win, it always comes over Dolph Ziggler?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's just me. I mean,
well, see,
Dolph Ziggler is always the one that cops it. The glorified jobber.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You need to get someone over. Win or lose, Dolph's going to get you over because he's going to sell the hell out of what you do, you know? Make you look strong. And he's going to give you enough competition where you'll have an entertaining match at the end, you know.
So this match did entertain, of course, having these two superstars. But there's two things that stood out in this match, and one of them was that Sheamus distraction. I mean, Sheamus was bound to distract the match simply because it builds heat between him and Dolph Ziggler leading into Extreme Rules. It gives Seth a way to win. It's basically a win-win. It was a no-brainer. But to have Sheamus come out and act like he did was kind of uncomfortable for the viewers.
Yeah.
And then, secondly... Oh, yeah, you go ahead.
No, I was just like shaking my head at the thought of Sheamus coming out and like, I'm gonna make you kiss my ass. Like, really? Like, jeez.
Smacking his
What
bum.
no Sheamus? Yeah.
It's just such an uncomfortable match. But secondly, you had the what looks to be the introduction of Seth Rollins' new finisher. Now, I wasn't aware of this before tonight. Actually, just before we went on, you showed me the article saying that it looks like the curb stomp is going to be banned from the WWE, and of course Seth Rollins' arsenal.
Yeah, shout out to Domil for sending me that. Thank you, Domil, for sending me that article. When he sent me, I was like, no, why would they do that? Because we were going back and forth on Twitter like, come on. You can tell he doesn't really hit people with it, so what's the big issue? It just looks mean. It's not as bad as it thinks. Like, nah, that can't be true. But when he hit that finisher he hit tonight, I was like, oh my god, they really are taking this away. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe that.
And speaking of the removing of the curb stomp, I think you were saying that it has to do with injuries or something.
Yeah, they were saying that they're
something
trying
along those lines, like health issues.
Yeah, something on the lines that they were trying to remove any liability for head injuries because, of course, with the Daniel Bryan thing, the rumor is he has a concussion. And concussions are a big thing in sports these days, especially over in the States because you have all these football players and things like that who sued the league, different sports where people are like, really strong concussion rules. I know, like in American football, if you show any signs of a concussion, you can't even come back and play, and they try to hold you out at least a week before, if they could. You have to like pass a concussion test before the game, or they'll hold you out as long as you don't pass like a real strict test. And they're trying to institute something like that in WWE as well because, WWE is like everybody else. If one place can get sued for this, we all could get sued for this. And they're trying to avoid people from suing them. So, and take a case like Dolph Ziggler, a guy who's been concussed so many times in his career. If the curve stomp was hit like a real one, yeah, he could have some severe brain trauma because this guy's been concussed a lot. So I get it, but at the same time, part of me is just like, it's not like it's a real move, and I don't think that Seth Rollins does it unsafely. At least I've yet to see a curve stop that he's done that looked like it's real bad. Like with the Brock Lesnar when he hit him with that. Brock Lesnar sells things really hard. Same thing with Randy Orton. Randy Orton loves to sell things. He loves to show blood. That's his MO. He likes to look like, oh my God, this guy's been destroyed, type of thing.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And like I said at the start, with Brock Lesnar, in a sense, it's like. It's sort of like Dolph. Dolph does himself. He kind of, at times he can oversell and he kind of puts himself in harm's way. And Dolph's been known for concussions constantly. I mean, he's had heaps of concussions within the WWE. But Brock Lesnar is kind of like between the line of like overselling and just stupid, because Brock Lesnar will run into the corners.
Yeah, it's like they throw like that when he busts his head at WrestleMania. When he busts his head, you kind of could see him pulling himself into that. Yeah, but you could tell to see like the way he hit it. It's like he kind of was trying to hit it as hard as he could without knocking himself out. He really likes to sell the pain of things. He really does. He likes to like rough stuff. So it's like people like that.
Did you notice?
Go ahead.
At WrestleMania, when Brock Lesnar did what he did at WrestleMania, you could see in his face that he hit himself so hard. He was like dizzy, in a sense, like he was just trying to regain himself because that was just stupid. But I understand with the concussions and stuff. Like here in Australia, we got to sport AFL, Australian Rules Football. Concussions becoming a massive thing here too. When someone gets concussed slightly, they're taken off the ground and they're gone for a week. I guess every sport looks at that because of how much damage you can have even after the superstar has finished doing, like, basically they can have long-lasting effects outside. So once they retire, these problems can come back and haunt them. Right. So I see, in a sense, I understand it, but at least with the curb stomp, it's acted. So I mean, you don't have to sell it as hard as everyone is. But talking, let's quickly I just want to break apart Seth Rollins' possible new finisher. I'm hoping that WWE changes their mind. He continues the curb stomp, but if he doesn't, this thing was like a Dirty Deeds leg in the air DDT looking thing. It's just uncomfortable. It's like Seth Rollins, I feel with his capabilities, he can do a much cooler move. If they're going to change it, at least give him something that's not being used by someone in the Shield.
Yeah, I honestly think this was just a spur of the moment type of deal. Like, okay, you can't use the curve stomp. Because, like I said, I got this article a few hours before Raw, so who knows when this all came about. If you know that this is exactly the case, who knows? This could have been something that WWE said today to Seth Rollins, and that doesn't give him much time to work on a finisher. So we'll have to see. Extreme Rules is coming up. We could see what exactly it is that he actually could come up with now that he'll have a week to devise something. This guy is so talented, so athletic, so gifted that he could come up with something cool. I personally wonder why they don't let him do a lot of his high-flying things from back in his independent days, because he could come up with something off the top rope that would be ridiculous. Like what he was trying to do to Brock Lesnar in the triple threat match when he hit that move off the top rope, something like that could be his finisher. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, like you said, we'll see. But anyway, as we mentioned from the start, Seth Rollins did win. He picked up the pin over the glorified jobber, and it kind of does build to the match having Seth Rollins win a match, because Seth Rollins, let's face it, if you're the champion, you can't just run around. He can't do, even when Edge was, because Edge was in a similar spot. I remember Edge being the champion that would always run away, and he always wanted to hold on to the belt no matter what the cost was. But it's good for Seth Rollins to pick up a win before the pay-per-view. I really don't think Randy's going to take it at the pay-per-view. So one way or another, in my eyes, I feel Seth Rollins will retain. But we'll discuss our Extreme Rules predictions in a separate video, as we always do. But after the match, that's where things got really interesting. And you had first was Triple H coming out with Stephanie McMahon. Then you had, piling on from there, you had Kane come out, and then suddenly Randy's behind him. Yeah, but we'll take it piece by piece. I think that's the best way to do it. You had Triple H and Stephanie coming out, basically guaranteeing that Seth's going to win at Extreme Rules, basically saying, you're the man, you're going to do it. And then why did Kane come out? For the life of me, I can't even remember.
I can't either. Because you heard the music, and Kane's coming to the ring, and they're like, here comes Kane. And then, of course, who shows up to crash the party for real? It's, Randy Orton.
Then you had, like we said, I think Kane came out just simply for the fact of coming out. That's how it feels. Anyway, the Randy Orton is in the cage with Randy Orton's in the cage with... Oh, no, I guess it kind of does make sense, Kane coming out, since he's going to be the...
He's going to be a part of the match.
gate guy.
That's true. Yeah, the guardian of the gate, or
so they had him on...
It's called it.
Yeah, the guardian of the gate. And they had Randy and Seth in the steel cage, and then you have Seth trying to escape. He's constantly trying to escape. He's climbing up the side. And that's when he cops an epic RKO. It's like Randy dragged him down, like pulled him down, and then RKO'd him midair. And let me just say, Seth has copped two of the top 5 RKOs. 2 of the top 5. He's won at WrestleMania, and this one are in the top 5 RKOs of all time.
And this is where it makes sense for him to ban the RKO, because clearly, if he gets caught in it, it's going to be a memorable RKO. It's not going to be just a normal RKO. He's going to get hit bad. He takes some punishing RKOs for sure.
But that basically summed up Raw. I mean, there wasn't anything powerful besides the entertainment we got out of seeing Orton run around RKOing people.
Yeah.
In the long run, it was a pretty weak build-up to Extreme Rules, which is looking to be quite a weak pay-per-view. But like always, we'll have our Extreme Rules predictions plus live after thoughts, live review of sense with Flying Modem. Hopefully he comes on. Hopefully he's free to get in.
He definitely should be there. I'm pretty sure he will be ready for this one. I'm just really not looking forward to it. Not because, I mean, love talking wrestling with you guys, but I'm getting back to the pre-WrestleMania mood that I was in. It is such a shame because look how quick the turnaround was. Just a month ago, we were all just extremely hyped over WrestleMania. And now it's just like starting to settle back into that. What are they gonna do now to piss me off type of?
Yeah, it's like this is the easiest way to put it, and this is the complete and honest truth. Before we started the podcast, the week we started the podcast, this Sharpshootin podcast, episode 1, was the first week I started watching wrestling in a long time. Usually, what I do is I'll wait. I won't watch wrestling the whole year. Come January, the Raw before, so the Christmas Raw, I'll watch that. Watch it through January, February to WrestleMania. After WrestleMania, I'll watch it to the next pay-per-view and then I'll stop. Because WWE, for some weird reason, I feel like after WrestleMania until the Royal Rumble, all that point is irrelevant in my eyes. I mean, SummerSlam, of course, is highly rated. It's a lot of people consider that their favorite pay-per-view. I mean, Money in the Bank, again, another important one. But the filler that goes in between now and next year's WrestleMania is going to be massive.
Yeah, I feel like, I honestly think that. It's like, okay, Royal Rumble, although the last couple of years Royal Rumble has kind of been shit to me. But you have Royal Rumble, the build up to WrestleMania. You get WrestleMania generally is a high spot. There's at least 2 or 3 matches on WrestleMania that you can point out each year. Then you get the lull. The Money in the Bank match itself is generally decent, but Money in the Bank, to be quite honest, as a whole, I never really care for. Then you get to whatever it is before SummerSlam. SummerSlam's generally when something good happens. And it's like after SummerSlam, it's coasting. And so let's go back to Royal Rumble and build Royal Rumble back. I don't know. We'll see. They still got time. They still have a lot of time to get things together.
Like I said, hopefully they prove us wrong. And while we're doing this, because the thing about us reviewing this is we want to be enjoying the WWE and also giving our thoughts, like telling you what pissed us off, and you let us know what pissed you off in Raw and SmackDown, whatnot.
Real quick, before I forget, I discovered something while on WWE. Did you know they had power rankings?
Yeah, it's been there for a while, but I've never really paid attention to it. Like, I know that it's like the top 25 superstars.
Yeah, and the power rankings are just garbage. Let me just say this. I'm not even going to go into it, but let's just say this. Number 2 is John Cena, and I'm going to leave it at that.
It's just kind of irritating seeing some of the superstars are just way out of position in terms of relevance. But with that said, I think it's safe to. Is there anything you wanted to add in terms of this Raw leading into Extreme Rules, or just leave it for the?
No, I think we're just gonna leave it to the people in the comment section to let us know what you guys thought of this past Raw and what are your expectations leading up to Extreme Rules. We're gonna do our predictions show, and after that we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so that's it for tonight. Pete, go ahead and say farewell to the people.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. This is actually, for us, this is actually a pretty early Sharpshootin podcast. This is probably the earliest we've ever done it. Basically, Raw's just finished. So we're looking good. We're up to date. We're in shape going into.
Right, we're giving it to you guys immediately, like you really want it. So glad we were able to do that.
But yeah, thanks as always for watching and supporting the podcast. Honestly, it means the world to us just having the support that it's been getting, and incredible.
Definitely, and like Pete said, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support, and we will see you next episode as we give our predictions for Extreme Rules, and then we'll see you live after the pay-per-view. So for Pete, this is me, Black Vegas, saying peace, and we'll see you later. Later.
Catch you guys.